But you said it's you and Joshua here. Now, is this fight done? What are we talking about?
You know, it's going to happen. Like, seriously, it's going to happen. We were talking with Turkey tonight, negotiations live in person.
World champion, he's now being talked about as an opponent for Anthony Joshua. Can that fight happen?
I think the fight can absolutely happen. I'm looking at it as Jake versus Joshua, which is quite biblical and it's quite impactful in many ways.
Reports say the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight is now officially planned for January 2026. Sources confirm that serious talks are underway for this major crossover matchup. Jake Paul's manager Nakisa Madarian has confirmed that discussions have started with Joshua's team and Eddie Hearn, while Saudi boxing figure Turki Alshik is working to support the event. Possible venues being considered include Wembley, as well as locations in the US and the Middle East.
In terms of those active discussions, how far have things progressed? Is it something that you can see happening next for Jake and for AJ?
I think we're looking at it happening in Q1 of 2026 is kind of the current discussion. I think it's public that AJ was taking a little time away. I think he had a little surgery. So once he's ready and once Jake is ready, we're going to squarely focus on that.
There are some concerns, aren't there, within the boxing world about Jake fighting someone as powerful as AJ. How much of a worry is that? We saw what he did to Ngannou.
So power is obviously the last thing to go. So obviously AJ has a ton of power and he's still fairly young.
Jake Paul recently hinted that a fight with Anthony Joshua is very likely to happen next year after his win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Paul shared that he and Joshua have been in contact, and Joshua mentioned aiming for a late 2025 setup with a full fight expected in early 2026. Paul's manager Nakisa Badarian confirmed that talks are ongoing and described it as a massive event in the making.
Now, I know you're after a world title, but if that doesn't materialize, I know the Tommy Fury name has been floated about. Is there any other fighters who may not be world champions that you're looking to face?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Joshua.
I think that's the main one that, we've talked a lot about is if it's not for the title, it's looking at Tommy, if he's reasonable, and then Anthony Joshua. And he's adamant that he wants to make that fight happen at the end of 2026.
Anything's possible. And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Paul followed up his public challenge with strong momentum, saying that a huge fight with Joshua is exactly what he wants next after beating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He directly called out Anthony Joshua on his podcast and repeated it after the match, making it clear that Joshua is his next target as he aims to make a major impact in a heavyweight division.
I want to fight Anthony Joshua exclusive because I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua. I know I will beat. Knocked out, right? Yeah. He doesn't have a chin and he has no skill and he's stiff. And I love you, Anthony. We're friends. But I want to fight you. I will beat Canelo. I will beat a lot of people. I will not beat David Benavidez.
Paul believes that his planned fight with Anthony Joshua would benefit boxing by bringing fresh energy, new fans, and huge worldwide attention. He's called himself a breath of fresh air and claimed that big names like Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Pacquiao see the value he adds to the sport. Paul pointed out that boxing needs a spark, and his wide appeal helps attract younger viewers who might not usually watch traditional boxing.
But you said it's you and Joshua here. Now, is this fight done? What are we talking about?
You know, it's going to happen. Like, seriously, it's going to happen. We were talking with Turkey tonight, negotiations live in person, which are always fun. But it's going to happen, and it's just such an exciting fight that crosses the whole globe. When you ask a lot of people about certain boxers, they don't know their names. And everywhere I've been going, I just talk about Anthony, and I don't have, I'm global. So it's just such a good fight for the sport of boxing. And people will think I will die, but I will show them why I can rise against all odds and beat him.
Everyone's been wanting to see happen. Who will be the king of the United Kingdom? And who will be the queen of the United? Too soon? I'm praying that boxing doesn't happen to this fight. And what I mean by that is politics. People trying to take more money than they deserve. Fuck the money. Get in there. Make fucking history. This is one of the biggest fights that could happen over this past decade. Make it fucking happen, Eddie Hearn. Make it fucking happen, Frank Warren. Make it happen, Tyson. Make it happen, Anthony Joshua. We don't need fucking excuses. Don't let boxing ruin this fight. Get in the fucking ring and fight like men.
Eddie Hearn has confirmed that real discussions are happening for a possible Joshua versus Jake Paul fight aimed for early 2026, with Joshua expected to make his return in late 2025 after elbow surgery. Saudi boxing leader Turki Al-Sheikh is also said to support hosting the fight, which makes it even more likely to happen.
The discussions with AJ are as follows. We will be ready to fight November, December. We are planning life without Jake Paul. But if that is for real, of course, we take that fight in a heartbeat. We don't think that, I don't just think Jake's doing it just purely for publicity, but at the same time, will he actually do it? We'll find out soon, but we're up for it. But we can't just live in the world of waiting for Jake Paul. So we're going to fight December, maybe early January.
Hearn has issued a clear warning to Paul, saying that although the fight offers huge financial rewards, taking on a top-level heavyweight like Joshua is very risky and should not be underestimated.
Jake Paul could last 3 rounds with Anthony Joshua. 3, 2, 1. You've seen he's called him out, presumably.
Yeah, in 2026. I mean, that's like me saying I'm going to go for the gold at the 2028 Olympics for surfing. It's clickbait, but he might just be mad enough to have a go. It's very dangerous, very dangerous. I mean, you saw a guy who has the same size as AJ and who has much more ability than Jake Paul, which is Francis Ngannou. And you saw what happened to him, and that was scary for a while. So, yeah, we can joke about it, but I don't recommend it for Mr. Paul.
I like Jake. He's a good promoter, very good promoter, and he's a funny guy. He's got a great sense of humour, got good people around him, the key, so they know their business. There's a massive weight disparity, and that's a tough thing to give away, especially with somebody who's got so much physical advantage over him, and he's a young guy, AJ. He's not an old guy, he's a young guy. Will it happen? Who knows? Anything happens sometimes in our sport. But I think that is a big ask of Jake beating him. Big ask.
Where are you on this nonsense?
Where am I? I can't see it happening. I can't. Although yes, lots of money, so on and so forth. I can't see it. I just can't. It just obviously as someone who's been a unified heavyweight world champion going in against Jake Paul, it doesn't sit right. Yeah, and it's like I'm also talking from a health and safety factor. It's like he's maybe a cruiserweight. Yeah. Anthony Joshua's a very big, strong heavyweight, and if he turns it on, it's not just a risk of a knockout. It's a much bigger risk. So I can't see it personally, but it's good talking point, I guess.
Eddie Hearn recognized the buzz around Fury's comments, but made it clear that there's no real balance between AJ and Paul in terms of skill. In a direct interview, he said if people see it as a 50-50 fight, that's fine from a marketing angle, but in reality, it's not evenly matched.
With AJ and Frank Bruno up there, the past, the current, so you're in now, son. You're in the deep end, and he's a good kid and a great fighter. I'm sure people are going to love being part of the journey.
Yeah, I know you're in a bit of a rush there, so I'll move on to Tyson Fury. Are you shocked that Tyson Fury announcing he's going to come back to ring? And did you expect him to want Usyk rather than AJ?
I think that he's always going to want to avenge a defeat. I mean, look, he feels that he won both of those fights. You know, I thought they were very close. Don't think he won them, but you know, maybe he does fight Usyk again. We can't control what Fury does. I gave up trying to do that years ago. You've seen from the response online, no one's really interested in Fury against Usyk 3, and everyone wants the AJ fight. But the minute I come out and start saying this and saying that, it probably rolls us back. So what I'm going to say is, good luck, Tyson Fury. Do whatever you want to do. Hopefully, it involves giving the public the biggest fight the country's ever had.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, 50-50 fight. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ...
Everybody, Pat Brown.
I mean, decapitate's a strong word, but you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ beat Francis Ngannou, Ngannou just had a fight that could have gone either way with Tyson Fury. Then AJ poleaxed him, and everyone just said he's just an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? Jake Paul's not Francis Ngannou. But as I said before, if you want to see Jake Paul exit the boxing world, make the fight.
Last one, what next for Dave Allen?
Well, Dave Allen's been an incredible project the last couple of months. I mean, look, we've been talking to Deontay Wilder, we've been talking to Joseph Parker.
Tony Bellew, the former WBC cruiserweight champion, called the fight dangerously insane and expressed strong safety concerns due to Paul's clear size disadvantage against Joshua.
It's a possibility to happen.
Oh, yeah, it's a possibility that... it's a possibility an alien might just land on this fucking grass now. It's a possibility.
Listen, I'm not saying the outcome of the fight, but there's a possibility that this fight could happen, isn't
You
there?
just said the word fight. In the same sentence, said Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. This is a guy who was on the Disney Channel, made his name big from the Disney Channel. And I haven't really slated this guy because I think he's doing, some of the things he's doing for boxing is brilliant. This job he's doing with the women is fantastic. I went into a gym the week before he fights Tommy Fury, and there was 200 kids in the gym on a Tuesday night. Kids, he's a big part of that. I give him all the credit in the world. But in the same sentence, he's fought one boxer, one live boxer in his career, and he lost. What would you say if I put Tommy Fury in with Anthony Joshua?
Paul's promoter Nakisa has responded to concerns about the size gap between Paul and Anthony Joshua, saying they're comfortable with the difference. Paul usually weighs between 210 to 215 pounds, while Joshua has come in around 252. Badarian believes Paul's strength progress and experience fighting heavyweights like Mike Tyson make the fight realistic. He also pointed to Paul's fast development in the ring as a reason for confidence. Still, many in the boxing world, including fighters, trainers, and promoters, question the legitimacy, safety, and long-term value of this matchup. While some admit it could be a big money event, few consider it a truly competitive fight.
Put it past Jake Paul. Anthony Joshua, as much as he's a monster, he's got a weak mind, hasn't he? So Jake could end up getting into it because Jake's got everyone eating out the palm of his hand. He's a very clever man. So
you really think he's got a chance?
Why wouldn't he have a chance? Look how confident he is. Mate, come on. Like, Anthony would have all the pressure in the world, and if Anthony didn't do him with the first few punches, he'd start doubting himself in his head, because that's what he does. But no, Anthony should win, shouldn't he?
What do you make of Tyson Fury saying that he's going to put $1 million bet on Jake winning by knockout?
Tyson to leg it, lad. He's retired about 50 times. What's he on about, mate? Just tell him to leg it, and I'd love him. If he walked in here, I'd obviously...
At one point you were good friends.
I'm still good friends, but obviously if he walked in here, I'd act like I'm not talking about him, but then on the camera I'm talking to him. Is this not what we're on?
Fair enough.
Is everyone not fake, or no? We all... What are we on here? Are we all acting like we don't hate each other? Like, come on. Like what?
You're on absolute smoke today.
Shut your mouth, Tyson. Shut your trap.
John Fury, father of Tyson Fury, stirred up headlines with a bold take on the potential Joshua versus Jake Paul fight. In a direct interview, he claimed Joshua would easily knock Paul out, and said if the result is anything else it must be fixed, showing how strongly he believes in Joshua's power and experience. Meanwhile, Tyson Fury gave a completely different view, saying he would bet £1 million on Jake Paul to knock out Joshua, calling the fight a true 50-50 matchup. His comments caused a wave of reactions in the boxing world, with many doubting the logic behind the prediction. Jake Paul responded with confidence, saying he would take the bet, and even raised it to £10 million on himself to win.
There's been some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look. Bit chubby, bit bulky. Getting there. That's protected. And he just done a great job over the aging Chavez Jr., who was a middleweight, but still.
Sure.
Yeah. I like how Jake Paul calls out the full spectrum from featherweight to heavyweight. Do you know what I mean? Who did he call out? Tank Williams and Joshua. That's just crazy. That's what you call Richter scale call-outs.
Richter scale, I like.
Simon Jordan firmly rejected the idea that Anthony Joshua should consider fighting Jake Paul. He argued that even with some recent challenges, Joshua remains a respected world champion and shouldn't risk his legacy on a crossover fight. Jordan questioned the value of such a matchup for boxing and doubted whether fans or broadcasters would view a fight between a proven heavyweight and a social media star turned boxer as legitimate.
As a boxing purist, it doesn't sit well, but as a normal working class lad, I've been asked by builders, would you fight Jake Paul for £5 million? I never got £5 million for fighting anyone else in a fight, so it's the silliest question in the world. I've been retired 7 years. I'm still very confident. If you give me 3 weeks to get off the couch, I'll probably still beat him with one hand. It's not. Yeah. He's not a good fighter, so it's not even being disrespectful to him as a YouTuber, as a presenter in what he does. He blows me out the water. That's his line of work. But you're stepping into boxing, another profession. Now to call Alexa Canelo out, I think is disrespectful. To call Anthony Joshua out is lunacy. But we know why it's happening and why he does it.
Forget Jake Paul. Forget Jake
sells
Paul.
A lot of tickets.
Paul. I mean, Jake Paul's going to do what Jake Paul does, but Anthony Joshua, and with respect to you and what you did and didn't earn in your career, Anthony Joshua has earned a king's ransom. Yeah. So he doesn't need to be fiddled with this, does he? Yeah.
No, he doesn't. But again, all I keep seeing from people out there is, when is enough enough? And I get that. But when you're retired at 33, 34, and you've got to make that last, now you've got more experience than me in this, dealing with a lot of footballers in the past as well, and business people who have to make a certain amount of budget last. It's the easiest money you'll probably...
Joe Rogan discussed the possible matchup on his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, and showed doubt about Jake Paul's timeline. He questioned why Jake is aiming for a 2026 fight instead of facing Joshua sooner, joking that Paul says he wants to fight Joshua now, but then delays it. Rogan sarcastically suggested that Paul might be planning to bulk up over time, maybe even using steroids instead of focusing on improving his actual boxing skills.
Talking right now about doing Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul.
I know, I saw that.
Jake Paul apparently wants that fight.
Yeah, that fight's not competitive at all.
Well, it's a dangerous fight.
Yeah.
Because Joshua's going to try to make an example out of him, for sure.
And will.
I mean, Anthony Joshua's one of the biggest one-punch KO artists. What he did to Francis Ngannou, good lord.
Yes.
Do you want that smoke?
Yes.
I mean, he's a one-punch, night-night guy.
Despite all the buzz, veteran heavyweight Derek Chisora has strongly criticized the idea of Jake Paul receiving a WBC ranking, calling it a disgrace to boxing. Chisora said real fighters spend years earning their place through hard fights, while Paul seems to be climbing the ranks just because of his fame. He accused WBC president Mauricio Suleiman of trading the sport's credibility for money and called the move unfair and damaging to boxing.
The WBC have said they're going to give a cruiserweight ranking to the winner of this fight. Do you think they deserve one?
I don't think so. I don't know why. It's hard enough for real athletes, for real boxers to gain those rankings, and then suddenly this Solomon Sousa decides to give double ranking because he's getting some greens in his, in his back pocket. No, that is disgrace to boxing.
Former world champion George Groves has rejected the idea of Anthony Joshua fighting Jake Paul, saying it offers no real sporting value. He believes Joshua should be facing true contenders in meaningful bouts, not taking part in crossover events. Groves called the fight low risk and low legacy, and said Joshua should either retire or wait for a major fight with Tyson Fury, which he sees as the only one that truly matters for his legacy. Fans have also ridiculed the idea of Joshua versus Paul, with many calling it a joke and saying Jake Paul is damaging to the sport. Some fans warned that such a fight would hurt Joshua's reputation, arguing his career should end with top-level matchups, not something that feels like entertainment over competition. These reactions reflect strong doubts about the seriousness and credibility of the proposed fight.
This is probably the state of heavyweight boxing. They have to bring Jake Paul into the ring to face off one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. He's already scheduled to face Anthony Joshua, which would be a major step up. Tyson Fury said, I genuinely think Jake Paul knocks out Anthony Joshua, which is actually crazy. But what did John Fury say?
Anthony Joshua could knock Jake Paul out with his dick.
If you saw what Anthony Joshua did to Francis Ngannou, who's not a boxer, absolutely flatlined him, right? You think a Canelo versus Crawford will do numbers? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua would break numbers. It'll probably be on Netflix. You'll see. Is Jake Paul a real boxer? Can he compete in heavyweight against Anthony Joshua? The world of boxing is crazy right now. To go from Nate Robinson, 5'7" guard that played in the NBA, to Anthony Joshua, you would never have picked it ever.
Jake Paul, you've lost your mind if you think you can go toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua. Listen, let's not get confused, guys. Let's not get confused. Yes, cool. Anthony, he took a big L with Daniel Dubois. But Daniel Dubois is not no joke, bro. He's not a joke. Do you know what I'm trying to say? He took a L there, but Jake Paul, I got the utmost respect of what he's done, how he's managed to navigate through the boxing world. Like, bro, it's so mad. And I can see this is like a 90%. It's happening, it's positioning, it's marketing already. Like, why would you see Jake Paul go face to face with Alexander Usyk if it's not to position for a fight for Saudi? Obviously, Jake Paul's gonna fight Anthony Joshua. There's possibly gonna be a Usyk against Tyson Fury 3, because obviously the last two were so close. But you never know. It can also be a Usyk against Derek Chisora. Do you know what I mean? You never know.
Do you think Jake Paul has earned a spot in the WBC rankings, or is it hurting the reputation of boxing? Will Anthony Joshua gain anything by taking this fight, or could it damage his legacy? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.